This is my new crime video for Billy's Mysteries of the Unknown about domestic violence. But in this one, will be some self-defense tips and words of wisdom advice to help all young girls and women. If you're being stalked by your abusive ex-husband or boyfriend, especially if they've either become obsessed with you or they threaten to try to harm you in some kind of a bad way because you broke up with them because of the way they treated you. To all young girls and women, here's some self-defense tips and words of wisdom that could help you. It's about if they're following you home, rather walking or driving. First, always remember, always keep your guard up, trust your gut feeling and instinct, and be aware of your background and surroundings, especially if you know or suspect that your abusive ex-spouse is or might be stalking you. Also, be aware of their threats, especially if they say, if I see you alone and there's no one with you, I'm going to kill you or do something bad to you. You better take that seriously. Why? Because whether they mean it or not, don't take no chances, especially if it's a death threat. Rather, they try to use a weapon, especially if they're going to use something like a weapon, such as a gun or a knife. Second, always let someone in your family or close friends know what's going on so they can be aware of what's also going on as well, so they can keep their eyes and ears on you. Also, let the police know what's going on as well so that they can be aware and keep an eye on you at all times, especially if you're under a threat from your abusive ex-husband or boyfriend, and especially if it's a death threat. Also, never be alone. Why? Because that's what they hope. And if you're alone, they will take advantage of that to try to either kidnap or harm you in some kind of a bad way, whether it's with a gun, a knife, or some kind of other weapon. And always keep your guard up at all times and never take your guard down for even 1 second or a moment. Why? Because that's what they're hoping. And if you take your guard down for 1 second or 1 moment, they will take advantage of that to try to keep word of trying to harm you in some kind of a bad way, especially if they threaten to kill you. Also, another self-defense tip, and this is third, always be with more than one person, especially if it's close family members or friends. Why? Because if you're with more than one person, it makes it harder for them to try to harm you. And also, if you can't be with one of them, you could always go to some kind of a public place, like a store such as Walmart, or maybe Dollar General, or a fast food place such as McDonald's, Burger King, Hardee's, places like that. Because if you're in a public place, there's nothing they can do. Because there'll be people watching. There will be witnesses, and they can identify what's going on, and they can tell the police especially. And remember that most abusive people, including abusive spouses, always hope to see their ex-girlfriend or wife alone. So you always want to be where there's lots of people or be with more than one person, especially if it's family or friends, because if you're with them, it makes it harder. Then they'll leave you alone, because if you're all by yourself, you're an easy target to them. That's why it's very important to be with more than one person, especially if it's close family members or close friends. Or if you're dating a new guy, if it's your boyfriend, fiance, or now husband, let them know as well so they can keep an eye on you, especially if your ex-husband or boyfriend has threatened to harm you in some kind of a bad way, especially if it involves murdering you. These self-defense tips and words of wisdom and advice will help all young girls and women. If you've been threatened by your abusive ex-husband or boyfriend that they're going to try to harm you in some kind of a bad way, especially if it involves using violence to kill you. and especially if they see you all by yourself. They will help, trust me. And I'm Billy McNeely for Billy's Mysteries of the Unknown. Remember what I just said, and may God be with all his children always.